Well, apparently I'm live. Sorry about the lighting. It's a bit dull, isn't it? But then I am today. I feel a little dull. Why do I feel a little dull? I don't know. It's probably because I've been very busy and I haven't been on here for a while, talking to the screen. Nigel the Nomad, now live. Oh, there you go. So, what have I got to say about the last year or 8 months or 9 months since I've posted on here? Um, Life is full of ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. Thank you, Bill Hicks. If you've never seen the monologue that Bill Hicks did at the end of a London show, he's a great comedian, a very funny man. But his monologue at the end of the show in London was quite brilliant, and talks about life being a roller coaster, and very much I am aware of that, and yeah, it's interesting. I've been doing a lot of music, and I've been releasing singles, just writing songs, recording them, and finishing the artwork and mixing them and then mastering them and releasing them, all from my little home studio here in my home, um, my home on wheels, which I enjoy. And haven't been traveling much because money's too tight to mention. Can't really do much on my pension, but it's good. It's all good. I'm planning trips and saving and thinking of going uh, on day trips or weekend trips again very soon. But been making a lot of music, releasing lots of songs, and trying to find out the real essence of who I am. Who am I? And I've been digging deep into books and philosophy and all sorts of things to try and understand who I am and what my role is, and um, on this human experience, I've considered my role to be very important, without being arrogant, but important that whatever I learn, I pass on, not as educational, but as informative of the messages that I receive when I start to write or start to create in a productive way. I want to pass those messages on to whoever possible. So, I mean, I consider my role to be a messenger, and I think that's very important to me. And so I'm discovering who I am. I'm discovering how I can influence others and how I can help others, because I think that's the real role for all of us, isn't it? Is once we've sorted out who we are and we've managed to find a way of sustaining who we are and making that a wonderful experience, then we should pass that knowledge on as best we can by influencing others. So, I've been spending a lot of time in nature. I'm um, around me is a big city, Los Angeles, but I'm on the outskirts of that in the foothills of the Verdugo Mountains, and in a place called Shadow Hills. And it's beautiful, and there's lots of trees and lots of greenery and lots of ways of enjoying nature here. The thing I love about California is the weather and the landscape, the way in which you can be in the mountains and you can be in the desert and you can be at the ocean all in one day, you know? I mean, I really enjoy that aspect, the geographical and weather um, patterns of Los Angeles. Not there's many weather patterns. It's usually very sunny and nice, and the climate's great. So I love it here. Um, Obviously, you know, I'm from England, so I spent first 30 years of my life there. So half my life I've spent in England, and half my life I've spent here. Here by choice, there by birth, and um, I do miss England. I miss the beautiful countryside, and I do miss seasonal changes. Although I've chosen this, and that's my life, and I love that. But I am planning to go back and visit England maybe this summer. I try not to go in the depths of winter. Um, this time last year, I was in England, my brother's wife's funeral. So that was a sad occasion, but at the same time, I managed to visit friends and enjoy my visit to England. So that was good. But now I'm you know where I want to be, which is in California. Um, I have a friend, very close friend, um, who is visiting California at the moment. He's just retired from his job. He was working in Germany for the last 10 years, and he lives in London, and he's over here in California at the moment visiting friends. And I'm hopefully going to visit with him again very soon before he goes back to England, because he's going to retire to England, go back to London. I stayed with him 14 years ago, I think. And yeah, I think it's 14 years ago. I stayed with him for the summer of that year, which was the summer of the British Olympics and the protests that surrounded that. And that gave me a very firm idea of why I don't want to live in England and why I still love England, because there were some beautiful things that happened and some terrible things that happened whilst I was there, and I was only there 6 months. But that was 14 years ago. And the thing that strikes me as being the core reason for my reluctance to want to be in England is this the still ridiculous notion that they have a royal family, and King Charles has been doing lots of meddling with the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization and all the corrupt people that are trying to take our individual freedoms and liberties away from us because they know better. They know better than us what we want. We don't really want this to be a political broadcast. It's not a political broadcast. It's just an independent idea of knowing who you are and what you want, and not allowing other people to tell you what you are and what you want. You have to decide that for yourself. And I'm a firm believer in the peaceful path towards that. But I couldn't live in England and know that there's this class system that is creeping in here too. I mean, it's creeping in everywhere, the control system, because of the likes of King Charles and other leaders who self-proclaimed leaders, they're born and they think themselves better than us. So they become world leaders, World Economic Forum, World Health Organization. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, are we going backwards with humanity? I think perhaps we may be, but I won't, and I don't intend to influence my children and my friends and people to follow that ridiculous path. We have to be self-governing and understand what that means. We take care of ourselves, and that we don't need a nanny government. We don't need a nanny state. This system is not very good. It's the one we have, and we have to accept it. But the system of government, the system of world government, the societal restraints and constraints of living, they're not for me. I don't want any of that stuff. No, nope. I'm going to make music and art and tell people that the most important thing in the world is unconditional love and peace. I mean, it can be achieved, but we have to live it, believe it, and really promote it in our actions and ways in which we interact. And it's kind of tough, but you got to keep going, one foot in front of the other. And that's what I've been doing. So the most recent song I put my music out as Tunnel Mental. That's the name of the music I mean, music and art, Tunnel Mental. I've explained Tunnel Mental to a lot of people. I want to keep it brief because it's just a made up word, but the made up word is it's the logical progress or illogical progression from being in tunnel vision to being tunnel mental. It's narrowing of your perception. I want to blow the doors off. I mean, famous Michael Caine quote that I've used in some of my music is, you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Well, I wanted to blow the doors off perception, because this perceived notion that you fit into this small, narrow little me is rubbish. It's utter rubbish. You're as powerful as anybody else. All of you, every one of you, every man jack of you. That's it. Take it by the throat. Any road up. Yeah, that's it, really. I mean, just keep putting one foot in front of the other, but make sure that you love and care for people. Make sure that you don't get carried away with your own ego and power, but use that power which is within you to help others as much as possible. Sometimes it's hard, I mean, some people just do not want help, and you try and help them anyway, but at the same time, you don't interfere and tell them what to do. You just try and help them, and sometimes you have to do that anonymously, and I've been doing that quite a lot recently too. Is anonymous. Oh god. See, the internet, which was supposed to be a wonderful free way of us all communicating with each other, I've been shadow banned and banned on the internet on or nearly every social platform at some point or another, but then I come back. But I need the social media because I think it's the better way to influence people. But the internet in and of itself has now become this overloaded, oversold bunch of people who are vying for more likes, and so it becomes very pop orientated. That which is popular doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. In fact, in many cases, it's definitely not. But the way I like it is like a communication tool where I can talk to the screen and somebody else might watch it maybe 10 years from now and they go, wow, people were going through a tough time then because the internet, although it said it was free, wasn't really free because the social platforms were controlled by people who are canceling people. That's happening a lot. And I think that's terrible. And some of the people I follow on social media have been pretty much cancelled out. And luckily, there are a lot of sub channels that are coming up that protect freedom of speech, which is very important. You have to be able to communicate with each other. The thing is, they've given us the greatest tool to communicate with each other and then said, yeah, but not that. You can't say that. Well, that's rubbish. Here's your freedom, but it's limited to these things: compliance with the system, do as you're told. I mean, it's just all rubbish. Anyway, that's it, really. I just want to sign off. I'm fairly confident that we're over this hiccup that was a lie and this control system. And I think most people are aware of how much the government and so called self proclaimed world leaders are lying to you. So follow the love in your heart. That's the one you need to follow. That true love, that unconditional love. Follow it. Be creative. Do things you love. Try not to hurt others. Help others whenever possible. And try to make a place in this world where you can be a true benefit to humanity, to your family. If it's, whoever you're in contact with, be as helpful as possible. Try not to be in conflict all the time. Try to make it as peaceful as possible. That's all you need to do. Keep being peaceful, keep helping others. That's it. Going to rant on otherwise. Cheers then. I'm going to end the stream and see if I can save it. If I can, then I'm back. If I can't, then they ban me again. Oh well. I love you. Bye.